Federal government sets 18 as minimum age for tertiary institution admission. NASU, SANU protest withheld salaries. PDP government supports local government autonomy verdict. And on the foreign scene, Kenyan police officers join local forces in reconnaissance tour of Haiti capital. Hello, welcome to News Updates on Trust TV. I am Lilian Ogazi. And now to the news. The Minister of Education, Tahir Maman, says candidates seeking admission into higher institutions must now be 18 and above. The minister spoke on Wednesday at the Joint Admission Matriculation Board JAM 2024 policy meeting. During his address, Maman pegged the minimum age for admission into universities, polytechnics, and colleges at 18. The minister said the decision is already a policy the federal government has keyed into. He said aggrieved parties can approach the National Assembly to amend the policy. The JAM policy meeting is an annual event where stakeholders from various tertiary institutions in the country sit to decide on appropriate cutoff marks for admissions in the current academic year. Still on education, members of the Senior Staff Association of Universities and those of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities, SANU, have converged at the Unity Fountain for a national protest. A handful of the protesters are already in the premises of the Unity Fountain. However, security operatives have locked some of the protesters out of the premises. After some agitation by the protesters, the gate is left open and the protesters have now blocked the entrance to the Unity Fountain with their trucks. The protesters are demanding the payment of their 4 months withheld salaries and the renegotiation of the 2010 agreement with the federal government, among other demands. The union, as well as the Academic Staff Union of Universities, had in 2022 embarked on a long strike, while SANU and NASU had a 4-month strike. The ASU strike lasted 8 months.
The letter to draw the attention of government today, we are going to submit those letters. Let me also welcome into our midst very distinguished and honored and respected Commissioner of Police for Abuja FCT. Can you give him a round of applause?
Now, moving on, Borno State Governor Babangana Zulum has cautioned stakeholders, especially youth in the country, against joining the nationwide planned protest expected to hold next month. He advised the people to channel any agitations through constructive dialogue. He stated this during a stakeholders meeting on peace building in Maiduguri. Trust TV's Beatrice Kurtzi has more.
Borno State had in the past decade experienced violence due to an insurgency that destroyed communities and properties and disrupting the peace in the state. Recently, the social media has been awash with plans of a national protest against the economic hardship in the country. For the Borno State government, the protest may lead to violence and cause unrest in the state. Governor Zulum is therefore pleading with stakeholders to engage in constructive dialogue and peaceful engagement, noting that such protests may lead to loss of lives and properties.
Our strength lies in our unity, our ability to stand together in the face of adversity. Let us stand together guided by our shared commitment to peace, stability, and progress. Let us choose dialogue over discord and unity over division. Together we can overcome the challenges we face and build a brighter future for Borno State. What we are facing in insurgency from 2009 to date. In the midst of the insurgency period, nobody in the country has protested in favor of Borno State. Nobody.
Critical stakeholders such as the NLC, traditional leaders, religious bodies, civil societies, among others, in their remarks, pledged to desist from the protest.
Talking about protests here and there, we have seen all these things. They gave back 3 minutes, but honestly, I must take this because I know the situation we have over the period of 15 years or so. You see, last 15 years, 14 or 15 years back, this security came to Borno from nowhere. Nowhere in the sense that one is nothing to do with religion. It's complete criminality to know. But alhamdulillah, through the effort of His Excellency, so many of these boys came back, defend themselves.
I want to assure you that the Christian community in Borno State are with you, Your Excellency. We are praying for you and for your administration. And I want to leave all of us with this food for thought. If we want peace, let us work for justice. To this end, one thing is sure, any breakdown of law and order can be hijacked by miscreants. And once that is done, the end result will never be good. People will die, properties will be destroyed, people that have been rebuilding their lives will lose in the process.
From the resolutions of the forum, it is expected that Borno State will not be among those taken to the streets during the week of the protest. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Meanwhile, the Borno State Command of the Nigerian Police says it has identified those behind next month's proposed national protest against economic hardship in the country. The State Commissioner of Police, Yusufu Mohammed, disclosed this at a peace-building meeting in Maiduguri. He said the faceless group behind the planned protest has political affiliations, but disguising as civil organizations. He revealed that one of the sponsors assigned to conduct and lead the protest in Borno State has been apprehended by its operatives. The police commissioner warned against unlawful protest in the state and urged the people of Borno to report suspicious gatherings to the police.
Experience has shown that in Nigeria, there is no history of peaceful protests. All forms of protests are being hijacked for selfish or ulterior motives. This faceless group, through our intelligence, we are able to establish their identity. They are sponsored, they have political alignment, they are partisan, and with your kind permission, Your Excellency, let me avail us with the name of this group. One is organized Abuja-led groups. The other one is Joint Action Fronts, JAF. Then, of course, there is Campaign for Democratic and Workers' Rights. Then there is Omoloye Somore-led Revolutionary Movement.
The new Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 14 in Katsina, Basil Idigu, says the force must change strategy in the fight against banditry if the war must succeed in the northwest region. AIG Basil, who was newly posted to Zone 14, said the new strategies must involve engagement with people from volatile communities, intelligence information gathering and sharing, among others. The police boss gave the hint while briefing officers and men of the Katsina State Command of the Nigerian Police during a familiarization tour. Abdullah Yamadi completes the story.
Inspector General, salute! Princess up!
Katsina and Kaduna make up Zone 14 of the Nigeria Police Force. The two states have been battling with the activities of bandits for over 12 years, leaving in its wake thousands of displaced persons, millions of rustled animals, an unspecified number of properties destroyed, and thousands of residents killed. The police, according to the AIG, should be able to think and act ahead of bandits by acquiring relevant intelligence reports from the various volatile communities, assuring that the narrative will change. The police said if bandits could gather information from those communities and launch attacks, it will be easier for the police and other security agencies. The AIG also added that in the course of his stay in Katsina, he will prioritize training and retraining of personnel that will fight bandits in conformity with Counter-Terrorism Act and standards.
I want to thank the CP and the officers of this command that in spite of the daunting challenges, we have not given up hope. I see the effort you are making, how you have been able to thwart some cases of kidnapping and banditry activities. These are commendable, and I'm here to commend your effort. I still want to urge you to do more because the situation is quite terrifying.
The Katsina State Commissioner of Police, Aliu Abubakar, said although the command has been battling with banditry, significant achievements have been recorded by the command.
Over 100 suspects were arrested in connection with various offenses. 107 kidnapped victims were successfully rescued unhurt. As over 5 suspected armed bandits were neutralized during the course of several successful operations. 2 AK-47 rifles recovered, 15 rounds of 7.62 mm live ammunition, 32 suspected rescue animals were recovered, 4 operational motorcycles of the bandits, and 3 mobile phones were recovered.
The Katsina Police Boss is optimistic that the deployment of the new AIG Basil to Zone 14 is an indication that the war against banditry will soon be over, considering his vast experience and commitment to duty. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Nigeria has experienced approximately 604 building collapses between 1974 and May 30th, 2024. According to the latest report from the Building Collapse Prevention Guild, the report highlights that Lagos State accounts for 57.28% of these incidents, with over 348 buildings collapsing in the past 50 years. In response to this alarming trend, the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria has identified the primary causes of these collapses and provided recommendations for state and federal and local governments to prevent future occurrences. Neil Sampson has more.
According to the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria's findings, a significant cause of building collapses is attributed to lack of adherence or weak enforcement of standards in planning, design, construction and maintenance of buildings.
Our findings indicate that a major cause of building collapse is traceable to the non-observance or at best weak enforcement of standards for planning, design, construction and maintenance of buildings. This has encouraged quackery among active participants in the building construction process and the proliferation of substandard building materials in the sector. This cause manifests in diverse forms, such as poor construction methodology, use of unqualified and unlicensed personnel, non-adherence to builders' quality management standards and specifications, non-compliance to builders' health and safety standards on building sites, lack of knowledge and experience in building technology, faulty design or design errors, use of poor or substandard building materials, disregard of the use of builders' production management tools and standards.
Against this backdrop, the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria has proposed recommendations aimed at preventing future building collapses that result in the loss of lives and properties.
To stem building collapse, the immediate enforcement of the provisions of Section 2.44 and 2.62 of the National Building Code 2019, which requires the submission and usage on site of builders' construction methodology, builders' project quality management plan, builders' project health and safety plan, building construction program prepared by a registered builder, in the construction of building projects. Recommendations to the state governments and local governments. Domestication of the national building code by all state governments to ensure sanity and professionalism in the built environment and development throughout the country.
Gaps in building regulations amid lackluster enforcement have seen building collapse become a frequent occurrence despite threats by government to punish violators. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now moving away from that, governors elected on the platforms of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) have welcomed the recent ruling of the Supreme Court on the local government autonomy. The PDP governors made their position known, rising from the forum's meeting held at the Enugu State Government House on Wednesday. Now, according to a communique issued at the end of the meeting by its chairman, Governor Bala Mohammed, the forum said it will continue to support the autonomy of local government as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Apex Court had on July 11th declared that it was unconstitutional for state governors to hold on to funds meant for local government administration. The court also barred governors from dissolving democratically elected local government councillors in the country, saying doing so would amount to a breach of the 1999 Constitution. A week after the landmark judgment, the PDP governors accepted the Apex Court's decision while calling for caution in the implementation of the ruling.
Following an exhaustive discussion and consultations with all the organs of the party, as you can see here, the National Working Committee and all the other organs, BOT and the rest, the meeting resolved as follows. Supreme Court ruling on local government allocation. The forum believes in the efficacy of the local government system, which ensures that governance is brought closer to the people as provided in the Constitution. The forum also will continue to support the autonomy of the local governments as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, restoring the nation's past glory. The forum regrets that the 16 years of tremendous development under the PDP-led federal government, during which the country witnessed single-digit inflation, the establishment of the existing anti-corruption institutions, and higher standards of living for every Nigerian has been eroded during the lifespan of the lackluster APC-led federal government. The forum identifies with the Nigerian populace in these troubling times and promises to bring back those good old days of low inflation rate, affordable food, fuel and transportation, steady FDI inflows, resulting in high naira value and the greater quality of human life as recorded. In that regard, the meeting commended the governors of the PDP-controlled states for their innovative approaches to governance in many fields.
Now moving on, divorce, childbearing out of wedlock and death are the cause of single parenting. The number of young ladies carrying kids out of wedlock in Benue State is becoming alarming. Jimmy Azande tells us.
Single parenting is not new, but the rise in cases is becoming a source of worry for residents of Benue State who are calling for proper measures to control the menace. They say single parenting comes with enormous challenges.
Experience. Because number one reason why we have more single mothers, or let's say single parents today, is the fact that our youth, or let's say the today generation, don't understand the difference between love and relationship. They fall in love for wrong reasons and end up as couples. So when they finally discover what they really want from their partners, they discover it's different from what they are experiencing, and this issue brings about misunderstanding that leads to separation.
Well, this idea of single parenting, of course, I was not raised by single parents, but I think from the experience I got being raised by my parents, that's my mom and my dad, I think it's just the best way a child should be brought up, by both parents. Yeah, because I'll first of all start by saying that a man and a woman, they are different people entirely. We all know that women are more emotional. So even when it comes to raising up children, a woman is most times careful. That's why we have most children in the society that they are more close to their mothers.
While some residents are of the view that this has come to stay, they argue that the government and traditional institutions can do more to reduce the cases.
Not encouraging single parenting, because sometimes it happens naturally. By happening naturally, it means death, which is an inevitable occurrence in somebody's life, can come and take one of the parents away. So I would not in any way encourage that. But if peradventure you have a single parent, the single parents should, if they have the capacities to train the child well, they will do, and it helps the child.
Some analysts say the rise in the cases of single parenting and the lack of proper care are responsible for high rate of out-of-school children across the country. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
And now to the foreign scene. Kenyan police officers have joined their Haitian counterparts as they walk around the capital Port-au-Prince, and Wednesday authorities have declined to provide detail on the officers' assignment, citing security concerns. Reports said that the policemen were seen on patrol in areas near the main international airport, which reopened in May after a surge of gang violence, forced it to close for nearly 3 months. 400 Kenyan police officers are on the ground in the violence-raged capital of Port-au-Prince. 1,000 Kenyan officers are meant to be deployed to Haiti. Meanwhile, Kenya's police have banned protests in central Nairobi until further notice. And in sports, Nigeria's forward Victory Benagba has joined the Swiss League side Servette on loan from Belgian Jupiler League side RKC Genk. The 21-year-old player for the reserved side of the Limburger, where he scored 18 goals in 40 matches. The player is returning from a foot operation and is in re-athletic training until mid-August, which is why the loan does not start until August 1st. The club announced his arrival with another striker, Usman Simbakoli. Nigerian forward Monday Itim has joined Helrod Football in the Danish league. The club confirms that it has bought the 25-year-old offensive player on a free transfer from FC Helsingør and gave him a 2-year contract. The club said they expect him to become an important player for the already existing offensive. Helrod director Jackie Rasmussen said he has high expectations of him and hope he fulfills them. Itim gets jersey number 9 in Helrod. With that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do also follow us across all our social media platforms for more news, more programs, and more documentaries. Thanks for watching. I am Lilian Ogazi. Bye for now.